Hello students. Now today we are going to discuss plan space planning from unit 7, which is on planning and constraint satisfaction. Earlier we have discussed what is planning, and followed by in last lecture we have discussed what is goal stack planning. Now today we will discuss one of the nonlinear planning technique, which is called as plan space planning. We have seen that planning agent can be viewed as a problem-solving agent consisting of beliefs, actions and consequences to arrive at a solution. We have also discussed that variation of propositional logic can be used for representing a plan. Then we have discussed goal stack planning. In goal stack planning, we saw that goal stack planning agent pushes goals, sub-goals and actions on the stack, and an action is removed from the stack if all its preconditions are satisfied. Since goal stack planning works on series of sub-goals one by one, we call it linear planning technique. Also, we have seen that goal stack planning may not arrive at a solution if wrong action is chosen. So goal stack planning works on a fixed plan or fixed set of sub-goals, and therefore we say that it is not flexible. And always in reality we know that it is not possible for us to define the order in which you will be working on the given problem. So therefore you need a flexible technique which will allow you to decide on certain things in your plan later on at the later stage. So today we are going to discuss similar technique called as plan space planning. Goal stack planning method that we have discussed, that is a state space planning technique which searches through the space of world of states. So in state space planning you are going to search states and you will find a path that will take you from initial state to the goal state as that of state space search. We saw state space planning is inflexible because it creates plans that are totally ordered. So goal stack planning was the example of that, where the plan was totally ordered plan. So it assembles this plan exactly in the same order, and then we have seen that sometimes it is not possible for you to define this order beforehand because you may have to backtrack most of the time. So it's better that you make your plan flexible. So therefore we have flexible planning technique called as plan space planning. Now let us understand what is plan space planning. Plan space planning is also called as partial order planning or POP, because here some of the steps are partially ordered or some of the steps are totally ordered. Therefore, plan space planner searches through the space of partial plans, which are set of actions that may not be totally ordered. Partial order planners are plan based and only introduce ordering constraints as necessary in order to avoid unnecessary searching through the set of possible orderings. This is called as principle of least commitment. Here the idea is never make choice unless it is required to do so. In other words, we can say that only do things as and when they are required. The advantage of using this principle is that we try to avoid doing work that might have to be undone later. Hence that will avoid lot of wastage of work. This is called as avoiding backtracking. So lot of backtracking can be avoided by introducing principle of least commitment in our work. That we do in our everyday life also. For example, whenever you visit our school, when you come to the school for lectures in the morning, if you see that there is no queue at ATM, you can visit ATM, withdraw money and come to the school. So if you make your plan flexible, then you will save a lot of time later on for withdrawing money. So this is how this principle of least commitment we use in real life. In planning, one application of this principle is never order planning steps unless it's necessary. So partial order planners exhibit this property because constant ordering steps will only be inserted as and when they are required. As opposed to, unlike situations based progression planners, they make commitments about ordering of steps as they try to find out solution. Therefore, they make mistakes from poor guesses about the right order of steps. Now come to plan space planning, why it is a nonlinear planning. In plan space planning, since ordering is not rigid, it is flexible, you need not have to attack sub-goals in a specific order. We call it nonlinear planning technique. We can modify any part of the plan. Therefore, these approaches do not constrain to focus on any particular sub-goal continuously. You can shift your attention midway. Therefore, that can solve problems like Sussman anomaly that we have seen in goal stack planning. So you can change your mind and you can attack some other sub problem in between. In plan space planning, program searches through space of plans, seeking a plan that will take it from initial state to the goal state. Algorithm represent a plan as actions arranged in some partial order, hence also referred as partial order planning. By searching through a space of partially ordered plans, each node in plan space represents partial order plan, and each arc represents transformation from one plan to the another plan. For example, adding a new step or adding a constraint between existing steps. Now consider the example of getting ready in the morning. So you will have to put your socks and shoes on for this purpose. So you can represent this as a plan. Initially, in the initial plan, you will have only start and finish steps. At the end, left shoe and right shoe will be on. Corresponding partial plan for this, you can have something like this. First, you are going to wear left sock, then wear left shoe, or you can wear right sock and then right shoe, and then you will have left shoe on and right shoe on, true. Or else this can be worked out in some other way also. You can wear left sock and then right sock and left shoe and then right shoe. Or you can wear first right sock, then right shoe, then left sock and left shoe. So there are various possibilities how you can achieve the final goal. So this partial plan can result in 6 different total order plans. In this first total order plan, you are wearing socks first, right socks, then left socks, and then you are wearing right shoe and left shoe. In second total order plan, you are wearing left shoe, left socks first and then right sock, and then right shoe and left shoe. In third total order plan, you are wearing right socks and left socks first. First you are wearing then left shoe and then right shoe. In this way, there are 6 possible total order plans. This is how we represent partial order plan. Partial order plan is represented as a graph of nodes and arcs. Here these nodes, they represent each step in a plan. So this is step S1, S2, S3, S4 and S5. And these arcs, they represent temporal constraint. So these temporal constraints are of different types. We are going to see that afterwards. One of the temporal constraint is your causality relationship, that S1 coming before S2. This S3 should come after S1. This S5 should come after S2 and S4. So S2 will come before S5 and S4 also will come before S5. So such a constraints are called as temporal constraints. This partial order plan represents following 3 total order plans. For example, first execute step S1, then S2, then S3, then S4, then S5. This is this first plan. Second way of executing same plan is, you first execute S1, then execute S3, then S2, then S4, then S5. This is this second total order plan. Third possibility is, you first execute S1, then S3, then S4, then S2 and finally S5. So for this partial order plan, these are 3 possible total order plans. Now we are in a position to define components of a plan. We need 4 components for defining any plan. First is set of actions. We call them operators. So we'll have set of operators defined, and this set of operators we are going to use for converting one step into the another, or to satisfy requirement of some other step. If certain preconditions has to be satisfied, you can introduce an action in between them. For example, I can have action buy some object X. Now for this action we will have preconditions defined. For every action we will have preconditions as well as effector or effectors. So to perform this action, that is buy X, you will have to define set of preconditions which has to be satisfied, and as the result of execution of this action, effectors you are going to define. That means result you are going to define as effectors. For example, consider another action, go to some place Y. So here you can have a precondition that you should be at some place X, and effector, as a result of performing this action, effector will be you will be at Y. So that's how we define this set of actions or operators in our description. Then second component is set of ordering constraints. We define it in this way: A comes before B, Not necessary that this A should come immediately before B, but this will define the ordering, that first A will come and then B will come. Here you will have to keep in mind that it should not result in cycle. If A comes before B and at the same time if we have constraint that B should come before A, so that will form a cycle and it will be a deadlock situation. So such a cycle has to be avoided. Third component is set of causal links between actions. So this set of causal links, they are shown with dotted lines sometimes. For example, if we have two steps, one is A and another step is B. To move from step A to step B, suppose there is a requirement that P should be true. So this step A, suppose this action A is making this P true. So first I will execute A and then execute B, because requirement of this B, precondition of this action B requires that P should be true. So if this action B is defined, in this action B's precondition, we want this P should be true. And in action A, in its action A's effector, you will find out this P is true. So A is satisfying B's requirement. So during this period from A to B, you will have to make sure that this P is true. Later on we will see, otherwise that will result in a problem. For example, let us see the example that we have discussed earlier. You are getting ready in the morning. The initial step is wearing right sock. So right sock, and then you will be performing wearing right shoe. Now to do this, to convert your step from right sock to right shoe, in between this right sock on should be true all the time. This preposition right sock on has to be true. So in between that, some other action should not make this preposition false. So if that is done, then you will not be able to arrive at wearing right shoe. So therefore, this we are going to define as a causal link between right sock and right shoe. And fourth component is set of open preconditions. Fourth component, set of open preconditions. So you will have to finally reduce this to empty set without introducing contradictions. Now open preconditions has to be satisfied during your plan execution. So therefore, for any plan, we will have these four components: set of actions, ordering constraints, causal links, and set of open preconditions, which you are going to satisfy during your plan execution. Now let us see how to prepare a plan, which is a partial order plan to solve a particular problem. For that purpose, we will start with some initial plan. So initial plan will describe unsolved problem consisting of initially only two steps. First step will be your start step. And second step will be your finish step. start and finish. Also we know that start should come before finish. Both start and finish have null actions associated with them, so they are not going to perform any action. But start step will have effect but no preconditions. So start state will have effect and there are no preconditions. Similarly, goal state will have all preconditions. It will have preconditions but no effect. By defining problem in this manner, planner will start with start state, initial plan, manipulate it until there is a plan which is a solution to the problem. So now let us see what is a solution to the problem. Solution is a plan that agent can execute and that guarantee achievement of a goal. So solution, after performing a plan operation, will give a set of steps, order of set of steps, and that will guarantee achievement of a solution. That order will be partially ordered and some steps may be totally ordered steps. We accept partially ordered plan as a solution because solution is complete and consistent plan. Now what is a complete plan? In complete plan, every precondition for every step is achieved. If every precondition of each step is achieved, then we say that plan is complete. Then see what is consistent plan. If there are no cycles in a plan, in ordering constraints, as well as if there are no conflicts with causal links, we say that it's a consistent plan. So a consistent plan with no open precondition is called as a solution. So we want a solution which is complete as well as consistent, sound and complete. Now there are two main reasons why your plan may fail. They are called as flaws. You start with start step and then you try to reach to the final step. During this process, your plan may fail because of two reasons. One is they are called as flaws. One is there may be some unsatisfied goals which are called as open goals. And second one is threats. The open goal or sub goal which is not satisfied by the current plan steps, then we say that it's a flaw. And what is a threat? Threats are caused by plan step that could cause undoing of the needed goal if that step is done at a wrong time. So basically threat is what? That suppose we have step S1 and another step S2. This S1's effector is some preposition P which is a precondition for this S2, and there is some other step S3 whose effector is not of P. Then we say that it's a threat because this P should be true as we have seen during this interval S1 to S2, protection interval we call it. So if this is the case, we say that it's a threat. So this S3 is clobbering, that is the concept of clobbering between this S1 and S2. So this has to be avoided. So let us define plan modification operators that we can introduce to resolve these flaws. Now there are two plan modification operators. First one is establishment. In establishment, we solve an open precondition, that is unsolved goal. If precondition P of step S does not have a causal link to it, then it is not yet solved. This is called as open precondition. For example, there is a step S, and for this S precondition is P, but this P is not solved. That means P is not P. Then we say that it's open precondition. So here you will have to introduce some step in such a way that will make this not be P or this P true. So that's what we are going to do out here. For this open precondition, one way is you perform simple establishment. That means you find out existing step T prior to S, in which P is essentially true. That means in this T's effector list you will find out T is true, and which is the precondition for this S. So this is called as simple establishment. Another way is you perform step addition. In step addition you add a new step T that contains P in its effect list. So T may not be there, so you add explicitly this T. In its effect list you will have P, here it should be P, in its effect list it should be P, and which is the precondition for S. Then add a causal link from T to S. So then you are going to add this causal link. So this is another way, we call it step addition. So these are the two ways by which you can work on open preconditions. Second solution is, if you have threat, then you will have to perform declobbering. This is called as threat removal. Now what is a threat? As I told you, if there is step S1, another step S2, requirement of this S2 is P. Precondition for S2 is preposition P has to be true, and which is effector of this S1, and there is in between step S3 and this S3 is causing not P. Then we say that it's a threat, because in this protection interval you should not allow this P to become not P. So that is, this step S3 has effect not P, and temporal link could possibly occur in between S1 and S2. If this is occurred, we say that S3 would clobber the goal P produced by S1 and consumed by S2. Fix this S3 in such a way that the S3 cannot occur between S1 and S2. So this you can do. Now you have to avoid this S3 in between this. This you can do by two ways. One is called as promotion, another one is called as demotion. Promotion says that you put this threatening step after the causal link. So this is the causal link. You put this step S3 after this causal link. So this is called as promotion. You are promoting this link S1, S2. So if you put it after this, then effector of this will make this not P, P2 not P. So here we will not have any problem. This is called as promotion. Another way is called as demotion. As opposed to this clobbering by S3 you can avoid by, if you put this S3 before this S1 and S2, then this S3 might make this P as not P, but S1 will make sure that this P is true. So this is called as demotion. You are demoting this S1, S2 by putting this S3 before this. So you can show this ordering by this, that S3 should come before S1. So this is how you can deal with threads. So now let us see an algorithm, basic steps of plan space algorithm, how it will work. This algorithm is a non-deterministic algorithm where you will have to make choices. Various search methods you can use, like depth first search, breadth first search, or iterative deepening depth first search, to explore the search space of possible choices. Then you are going to maintain agenda of goals that need to be supported by links, where your agenda will be a pair QAI, where Q is precondition of AI. So to execute AI, you need Q should be satisfied. Then you will have initial plan, which will be a null plan initially, and agenda with conjunction of goals. That is, that conjunction of goals will be your preconditions of finish, because your initial plan is something like this. We have start step, then final step, and then here we have effectors of S. That will be, that's how your initial state you can define, and here you will have this preconditions of finish that you will be finally achieving. So these are called as conjunction of goals, and then you will be performing this search until all the preconditions for every actions are satisfied and there are no causal links which are threatened. So there should not be any flaw. So you will have to repeat this until all preconditions are satisfied or no flaws are present in your plan. So this is how you can work on a problem that you can solve by using plan space planning. Now we will understand this plan space planning with an example of a robot agent which is given in your Russell and Norvik's book. Here the robot needs to solve the following problem. Robot has to get a bag of milk, bread and a good book. So here you will have to define two steps, start step and finish state. As we have seen, you will have to prepare the initial plan, and now your initial plan will have start state and then it will have finish state. And then here you will have to achieve have milk, have bread, have book and at home. So these are the preconditions for this finish. And then at start state, which is a null state as that of finish state, but it will have effectors where we will have at home store sells milk, store sells bread and B store sells book. True. So now we will start with this initial plan and we will convert it into the solution. So I have put it in this form just now we have discussed. So this is our initial state. So now here you have to achieve this goal, have milk, have bread, have book and at home. So we'll start with first goal, that is have milk. Along with this we have given two actions. One is buy action, buy X, and another one is go action. In Russell's and Norvig book you will find out in its description. For buy X, preconditions are given and effector is given, effectors are given. For go X also preconditions are given and effectors are given. So you will have to use these steps, actions during your planning process. So To have milk, you will find out, you will have this by x. In by x, you have x effector. So therefore you can make out, you can add this step as we have seen earlier in plan space planning. You can perform step addition, simple establishment to achieve certain preconditions. So here if you substitute this x with milk, then you will have here have milk achieved. So for that purpose there are two preconditions, that you should be at store, and second one is store should be selling that milk. So store selling milk is true, so one of the precondition is satisfied of this by x, but you should be at store, that is not satisfied, so we will see that afterwards, but at least you will have milk. So if you introduce a step by milk, then you can have milk. So we will perform step addition here. Now look at this, by x action is specified in this way, by x has precondition at store should be true and store should be selling x, then you will have x. So if I substitute this x with milk, so this will become by milk, and then preconditions will be at store should be true and store is selling milk should be true. So you will find out here store sells milk is true, so one of the precondition is satisfied, and that will give you have milk. So therefore I have introduced a step here. Step addition is performed by milk by establishing a link between start and by milk. So that will give me have milk. So effector of this by milk is have milk. So that can make this have milk true. But store sells milk is true, but at store is not true because you are at home. So something is required to make this precondition satisfied for by milk, so that you will be at robot should be at store. So that we will do afterwards. Similar to this, you can satisfy second sub goal, that is have bread, by adding another step here. Step addition you can perform by bread. So instead of milk, now here you will have bread. So that can establish a link from start to by bread. And then precondition of this finish, that is have bread, will be satisfied, so that will be simple establishment between by bread and finish. Similarly, you can perform another step addition, that is by bread out here. So that will establish this link from start to by bread, and simple link establishment will be made from by bread to finish. So here you will have precondition for this by bread, that store sells bread has to be true, so that is already true, but you should be at store, that is not true, so we will work on that afterwards. For buying bread you should be at, this is book, buying book you should be at bookstore, so this books you should be at bookstore, so that at bookstore has to be true, which is not right now because you are at home. But by performing step addition, 3-step addition, you will be able to work on have milk, have bread and have book. Now you have to satisfy the preconditions for this by milk, by bread and by book. one of the precondition is satisfied, but the other one at store is left out. So you will work on that. So after performing step additions and simple establishment, your plan will look like this. Here we have performed step addition, added by bread second, and then added by book. So by simple establishment we have added the links, and now plan will look like this. Now we will work on this at store. At store is not true. Store sells milk is true. Store sells bread is true. Bookstore sells book is true. But this at store is not true. So we have another action with us, that is go there. As we have said, go there. For this go there, the precondition is you should be at here, and then effector will be, conclusion will be, you will be at there. In addition to this, you will be not at here, so not at here. So we will add this go action in between this start and by, so that here will be replaced by home, so you will be at store. Similarly, in between go store to buy bread. Similarly, one more go action we will be adding out here. You will have to go bookstore. So go bookstore will be added out here, so that you will be at bookstore. So precondition of this is at home, and out here its precondition is at home. So let us see this go there. Precondition is at here, effector is at there and not at here. So this go store we have added here, so that will establish links between these two, and from start to this. And along with this we will be adding another go out here. So go to B store, like this. But now you will find out this will result in a problem. If you go to store, then you will be not at home. So to perform this go bookstore, after getting milk and this bread, you will have to go home, and then you will have to go to the bookstore. But instead of doing that, you can order the steps by performing go bookstore first, so that you will be at go store first, so that you will be at store, and from store you can go to the bookstore. Unnecessarily going back home after this buying milk from store, we will go to the store, and from store then we can go to the bookstore. So for bookstore, going to the bookstore, the precondition will be at store, so that you can go from this to this after buying milk. Therefore we will remove this link and we will add a link this way. So from go store, you can, this at store will be true in this case. So initially it will look like this, but here after buying milk you will be at store, so again you will have to go home, So this we will remove by adding a link from go store to the bookstore, go bookstore. So this we have done out here. So this is called as clobbering, as we have said. For go store, the precondition required was go home, but this S1, that is go store, is making this go home false. So therefore this was clobbering. So that has resulted in a threat. So that has to be resolved. So one solution we have proposed for that first we will perform S1 and then we will perform S3, so that you did not have to go home again. So now we have removed that threat that at home was false. So we have ordered that S1 we will execute first and then S3. But after going to the store, we will buy a milk, and after buying a milk, you will be at store, then you can perform S3. Because if you go to S3 from S1, then you will not have milk. Therefore, first we will buy milk and then go to the bookstore. So we will perform demotion here. After buying milk, then you will perform go B store action. So we have added demotion out here. Similarly, after buying bread, then you will be going to the bookstore. Now whenever you will be at bookstore, then you will have milk as well as bread. Now you will have to buy a book. So whenever you are going to buy a book, you will be at a bookstore. Effector of this go bookstore is at bookstore. But here we need to satisfy this also, you should be at home. So after going to the bookstore, you will have to add here another action, that is go home, so that you will be at home in this way. So you are at the store, then you will go home. But if you go home from here directly, then you will not have book with you. So to have book with you, first we will have to perform buy book. So you are going to add another demotion out here. After buying this book, you perform go home. So this three demotions we have added. Initially two demotions, from buy milk, buy bread, you have performed S3, and now this third demotion, from buy book to go home, so that you will be at home and this at home will be satisfied. So now this is your final plan after performing this three demotions, and that's how you have removed the threats. So your final plan is you go to the bookstore, buy milk, then buy bread, then go to the bookstore, buy book, and then go home. So you will have milk, bread, book, and you will be at home. So this is how the final plan is achieved. This process is called as plans plus planning. So this is the final plan. Go store, buy milk, buy bread, go to the big store, buy book, then go home. So all preconditions of this sub goals are achieved. So let us summarize plan space planning. This plan space planning or partial order planning algorithm is sound and complete. That this algorithm returns the plan, that is a complete plan, then any total ordering implied by it solves by a planning problem. So therefore it is sound. If there is a solution to a planning problem, then this partial order planning algorithm will eventually give you the solution. Therefore it is complete. The usual implementation of this partial order planning algorithm is to maintain a queue of partial plans and then sort these queues using some kind of ranking function. So that's how this nonlinear plan space planning works.